Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about Earth's vast, mysterious oceans. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. A lot of people are taught the ocean is blue simply because it reflects the blue of the sky. A lot of us heard this as kids. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You look up, the sky is blue. You look down, the water's blue. But is the ocean really just a giant mirror? Or is there something else going on here? What do you think? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is bioluminescence. That's bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is a combination of two words. The first part, bio, comes from the Greek word bios, meaning life. The second part, luminescence, comes from the Latin word lumen, which means light. So when you put it together, bioluminescence literally means living light. It's the amazing ability of a living organism to produce and give off its own light through a chemical reaction. It's not a reflection, and interestingly, it's not hot like a light bulb. It's a cold light. Here on land, we might see bioluminescence with things like fireflies, but the ocean is where it truly shines. In the deep of the ocean, where the sunlight just can't reach, it's the only source of light. Scientists estimate that the vast majority of animals living in the deep sea, perhaps as many as 90% of them, could be bioluminescent. They use this ability for all sorts of reasons. Some, like the anglerfish, use a glowing lure to attract prey in the dark, while some shrimp spray a glowing cloud to blind predators and make a quick getaway. Bioluminescence is a key tool for surviving in the planet's biggest and darkest habitat. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about the oceans. Number 1. The ocean is the true lungs of the Earth, producing most of the oxygen we breathe. When you think about oxygen production, you probably think of the Amazon rainforest, but the ocean is the real powerhouse. There's a range of estimates, but generally I've seen between 50% and even as high as 80% of the oxygen on Earth may be produced by the ocean. Now, to be clear, it's not the water itself producing all this oxygen. It comes from microscopic marine plants like phytoplankton. These tiny organisms float near the water's surface to catch sunlight. And just like plants on land, phytoplankton use photosynthesis. They absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide and then release oxygen. There are so many phytoplankton, and they're so efficient at this that they produce more oxygen than all the forests and grasslands on Earth combined. Number 2. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do the ocean floor. It may be hard to believe that we've covered more of Mars's surface than our own planet, but the ocean is really deep and the pressure is so intense that exploring is incredibly difficult and expensive. Because light can't travel far underwater, we can't just take pictures. Instead, we have to use sonar or sound waves to map the seafloor from specialized ships, and that's a very slow process. As of the time of this recording, only about 24% of the world's ocean floor has been mapped in high resolution. By contrast, 100% of the surface of Mars and the Moon have been mapped, although they have been at a lower resolution. We know the exact locations of volcanoes on Mars, but there are likely massive mountains, canyons, and volcanoes at the bottom of our own oceans that nobody has ever seen. Number 3. The deepest point in the ocean is so far down, it could basically swallow up the tallest mountain on Earth. The highest mountain on land is Mount Everest, which stands at 29,032 feet. But that's nothing compared to the depth of the ocean. The deepest known part of the ocean is the Challenger Deep, located in the southern end of the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. It is 36,070 feet deep. That's almost 7 miles straight down. To put that in perspective, let's say hypothetically you can pick up Mount Everest. You place it at the bottom of the Challenger Deep. Well, its peak would still be over a mile under the surface of the water. And as long as we're talking the extremes in the depths of the ocean, the water pressure down there is over 1,000 times what we're feeling here at sea level. So if you were able to somehow stand down there at the bottom of the Challenger Deep, it would feel like being crushed with the weight of 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of you. Number 4. The ocean provides 94% of all the available living space on the planet Earth. Okay, this one can be a little tricky to understand at first, but bear with me. Life on land is restricted to a relatively thin layer. It's basically the ground and a little bit up into the air. But the ocean is a massive three-dimensional world. The average depth of the oceans is about 2.3 miles, and life exists in the entire water column, from the surface all the way down to the deepest trenches. When you calculate the total volume of space where life can exist, the land is just a tiny fraction. While the ocean covers about 70% of the planet's surface, because of that incredible depth, its volume means it makes up 94% of the Earth's biosphere, or the living room for all of life. And given that the ocean has just so much more room to roam, it makes sense that the ocean is home to the largest animal that has ever lived on Earth, the blue whale. And our 5th and final fun fact for today, there are actual sort of lakes and rivers flowing along the bottom of the ocean. It's hard to imagine a submarine diving to the sea floor and then suddenly seeing a shoreline, but there kind of are shorelines at the bottom of the sea. They're called brine pools. They're large areas where water that's much, much saltier or brinier than the surrounding seawater has collected in a basin. Because this brine is so much more dense than normal seawater, they don't mix. It settles at the bottom and forms its own separate lake, which can have distinct shorelines and even waves. In some places, this dense water even flows downhill, creating underwater rivers. Now, these pools are very toxic to most sea creatures, but some specialized microbes and mussels have learned to live in them, feeding off the unique chemicals. Now for some news you can use. There's something so pleasant about picking up a large, empty conch shell, holding it to your ear, and hearing that unmistakable rushing sound of the ocean. You ever wonder how it works? I mean, you're obviously not hearing the ocean recorded in the conch shell, but what are you hearing? You're actually hearing your own surroundings, just in a new way. The hard, curved, and hollow shape of the seashell makes a perfect resonant cavity. This means the shell captures all those quiet background noises in the room or the area around you. The hum of the air conditioner, the sound of the wind going through the trees, distant conversation, or even the sound of your own blood rushing in your ear. The shell amplifies these sounds, bouncing them around inside and causing them to resonate at different frequencies. And this mix of amplified ambient sound just happens to sound almost exactly like the white noise of ocean waves. And that kind of brings me to a little mindfulness tip. Part of the magic of holding that shell to your ear is that it forces you to stop, to be still, and really listen. You don't actually need a shell to do this. You can take a quiet moment anywhere, anytime you need it. Just pause for 30 seconds, close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and focus entirely on the ambient sounds around you. The hum of the fridge, the birds outside, or even distant traffic. It's a quick, relaxing way to ground yourself in the present moment and find a little bit of calm in an otherwise busy day. And finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if the ocean is blue because it just reflects the blue of the sky. Well, that's more or less a fallacy. While the ocean does reflect the sky to some extent, that's not the main reason for it to look blue. The ocean is actually blue for more or less the same reason the sky is. It all has to do with how light waves are absorbed or scattered. Here's the quick overview. All the colors we see are different wavelengths of light. White light, like sunlight, has all the colors of the rainbow mixed together in there. Water is very good at absorbing some of those wavelengths of light. When sunlight hits the water molecules absorb the longer wavelengths of light, the reds, oranges, and yellows. The water isn't so good at absorbing the shorter blue wavelengths. Since this blue light isn't absorbed so readily, it gets scattered and reflected back to our eyes, making the ocean appear blue. This is why when you look out at the vast ocean, it all looks so blue, but if you scooped up just a little cup of that water, it would look more clear. The blue comes from the cumulative effect of the absorption and scattering of different wavelengths. And that's why the deeper you go, the more blue everything's gonna look. That is, of course, until you get so deep that all the light's absorbed and it just looks pure black. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the oceans with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.